No one at St. Mary's Diner remembered a time when Emily Carter didn't work double shifts. She arrived before sunrise, tying her apron while the sky was still dark, and she left long after the dinner rush, when the neon sign outside flickered like it was as tired as she was. Her sneakers were always worn at the heels. Her hands were always rough from hot plates and endless dishes. And the dark circles under her eyes never really faded. "Emily, you sure you don't want to take tomorrow morning off?" her manager, Linda, asked one night as Emily wiped down the counter for the second time. Emily smiled, the same gentle smile she always gave. "I'm good, Linda. I'll be here." She was always good. Always fine. Always ready to take another shift when someone called out. The regulars noticed. Truck drivers, early morning nurses, retired veterans, they all saw how she moved through the diner like a quiet storm, efficient but kind, never complaining. What they didn't know was why. Emily lived in a small two-bedroom apartment on the east side of Cleveland with her 14-year-old son, Noah. The paint peeled near the windows, and the heater rattled like it might give up any winter. But Emily kept the place spotless, as if cleanliness alone could protect them from everything else. Every night, no matter how exhausted she was, she checked Noah's homework, packed his lunch, and kissed his forehead before collapsing onto the couch instead of her bed. "Mom," Noah asked one evening, watching her rub her temples, "why don't you ever rest?" Emily looked at him, her eyes soft but guarded. "Because someday, kiddo, all this will make sense." Noah didn't push. He'd learned not to. Years passed like that. Bills stacked up. Rent went up. Groceries cost more. Emily picked up even more shifts. Sometimes she worked 7 days straight. Sometimes she fell asleep on the bus ride home, her head bumping against the window. Still, she kept going. One winter morning, Emily collapsed behind the diner after finishing a 14-hour shift. Linda found her sitting on a milk crate, pale and shaking. "That's it," Linda said firmly. "You're taking tomorrow off." No arguments. Emily wanted to argue, but her body refused. She went home early for the first time in years. That evening, as she searched for a clean sweatshirt in her closet, something slid out from behind a stack of old coats and fell to the floor. An envelope. It was thick. Yellowed with age. And it had her name on it, written in a handwriting she hadn't seen since she was 19. Her breath caught. She sat down slowly on the bed, holding the envelope like it might burn her fingers. The return address made her hands tremble. Harrison and Cole Law Offices. Memories flooded back, memories she'd buried deep under years of exhaustion. She hadn't meant to forget the envelope. She had hidden it years ago, promising herself she'd open it when things were calmer. Things never got calmer. With shaking hands, Emily tore it open. Inside were documents, and a letter. She began to read. "Dear Ms. Carter. If you are reading this, it means the time has come." Emily's vision blurred. The letter explained everything she had tried so hard not to remember. When Emily was 17, her mother, Rachel Carter, had been diagnosed with a rare heart condition. Medical bills piled up fast. Emily's father had left years earlier, and it was just the two of them. Rachel had quietly taken out a life insurance policy, and named Emily as the sole beneficiary. But there was a condition. If Rachel passed away before Emily turned 21, the funds would be placed in a trust. Emily could not access the money until her child, if she ever had one, turned 14. Rachel had written a note explaining why. "I don't want this money to disappear on survival," her mother had written. "I want it to become a future." Rachel died 6 months later. Emily had been pregnant with Noah at the time. Life became about diapers, rent, and staying afloat. Emily never opened the envelope. She forgot the details. She forgot the possibility. Now, 14 years later, the letter ended with a sentence that made her sob out loud. The trust matured last month. The funds are now legally yours. Emily dropped the papers and covered her face. She cried for her mother. She cried for all the years she worked until her feet bled. She cried for every night Noah heard her whisper prayers she thought he couldn't hear. The next morning, Emily sat across from a lawyer in a quiet office downtown. The number he showed her didn't feel real. Enough money to pay off debts. Enough to buy a small home. Enough to send Noah to college, without loans. Emily walked out of the office feeling like the ground beneath her had shifted. That night, she sat Noah down at the kitchen table. "I need to tell you something," she said, her voice trembling. Noah listened as she explained everything: his grandmother, the envelope, the years of waiting without knowing. When she finished, Noah's eyes were wet. "So, you worked like that," he said slowly, "not because we were failing, but because you were protecting me?" Emily nodded. Noah stood up and hugged her tighter than he ever had. "You don't have to do that anymore, Mom." Emily didn't quit the diner right away. Instead, she slowly reduced her hours. She started sleeping again. She laughed more. Her smile finally reached her eyes. One afternoon, she brought a box of donuts to the diner and gathered everyone together. "I'm leaving," she said softly. "I'm starting a new chapter." Linda hugged her so hard Emily could barely breathe. "You earned it," Linda whispered. Months later, Emily bought a modest house with a small backyard. Noah planted a tree out front. "For Grandma," he said. Emily framed the letter and kept it on her bedside table, not as a reminder of money, but of sacrifice. Years later, when Noah graduated high school with honors, he gave his mother an envelope of his own. Inside was a handwritten note. "One day, I'll work hard too, not because I have to, but because you taught me what love looks like." Emily cried again, but this time, they were tears of peace. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to the channel.